What if Hermione Granger's parents had made a different choice in November 1981? What if Dan and Emma Granger, driving home from a dental conference late one night, had taken a wrong turn down Privet Drive and discovered a baby crying on a doorstep? What if these compassionate Muggle dentists had picked up that abandoned child, read the mysterious letter, and decided that no baby deserved to be left outside like a package? What if they'd taken Harry Potter home, adopted him, and raised him as Hermione's older brother? It seems like such a small, random chance. Two Muggles who happened to be in the wrong place at exactly the right time. But that single moment of compassion would create ripples that would fundamentally change the entire wizarding world. Because Harry Potter raised by the Grangers would be a completely different person than the Harry we know from canon. Think about what the Dursleys did to Harry's psyche. 10 years of systematic emotional abuse, living in a cupboard, being told he was worthless and unwanted, watching his cousin get everything while he got nothing. That abuse created defensive walls around Harry's heart, made him desperate for love and belonging, gave him a saving people thing that bordered on self-destructive. Canon Harry was shaped by neglect into someone who fundamentally believed he wasn't worth protecting. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine Harry raised by people who chose him, who wanted him, who loved him unconditionally from the moment they found him. Imagine Harry growing up with a little sister who adored him, in a home full of books and learning and intellectual curiosity. Imagine Harry Potter raised by dentists who valued education, who encouraged questions, who believed that knowledge and hard work could overcome any obstacle. This is the timeline we're exploring today, where Harry Potter grows up as Harry Granger, big brother to Hermione, raised by Muggles who love him completely, where the boy who lived discovers magic at the same time as his sister, where they navigate Hogwarts together, where family bonds prove stronger than prophecy or destiny. But this isn't a simple Harry has a better childhood story. Raising Harry comes with complications the Grangers never anticipated. They're Muggles with no understanding of magic or the wizarding world. They don't know about the prophecy, about Voldemort's followers seeking revenge, about the magical fame attached to their adopted son. They raise Harry with love, but also with complete ignorance of the danger he represents. And critically, they also raise Hermione. Canon Hermione was brilliant but often isolated, desperate to prove herself to magical peers who looked down on her Muggle heritage. But this Hermione grows up with an older brother who protects her, who shares her intellectual curiosity, who faces the magical world's prejudice alongside her. She becomes someone different, more confident, but also more defensive of her family. We'll explore how the Grangers handle discovering their son is famous in a world they don't understand, how they react when they learn about Voldemort, about the prophecy, about the danger Harry faces, how they navigate raising two magical children while being Muggles themselves, how they protect Harry and Hermione from a world that often despises Muggle-borns. We'll examine what kind of person Harry becomes when raised with love and intellectual encouragement. Does he still have the same moral courage? The same saving people thing? Does he develop differently without the abuse and neglect that shaped Canon Harry? What happens when he arrives at Hogwarts not as an ignorant orphan, but as a confident boy with a family who loves him? We'll follow Harry and Hermione through their Hogwarts years together. How does having an older brother change Hermione's experience? How does protecting his little sister change Harry's choices? What happens when they face challenges together rather than separately? How do their combined intelligence and different approaches to problems change events? And we'll explore the complicated question of identity. Harry grows up as Harry Granger, not Harry Potter. He knows James and Lily were his birth parents. The Grangers tell him the truth early, but he considers Dan and Emma his real parents. How does the wizarding world react to the boy who lived rejecting his famous name? How does Harry navigate his dual identity? This timeline isn't necessarily better than canon. The Grangers' love solves some problems but creates others. Harry loses the blood protection that kept him safe at the Dursleys. The Granger family becomes a target for Death Eaters. Hermione grows up sharing her parents' attention rather than having it exclusively. Both children face prejudice as Muggle-borns, but the fundamental difference is love. Harry grows up wanted, chosen, cherished. He has a sister he'd die to protect, and parents who believe in him absolutely. When Voldemort returns and war comes, Harry faces it not as an isolated orphan, but as part of a family willing to fight alongside him. So let's explore the timeline where two Muggle dentists changed everything by refusing to leave a baby on a doorstep, where Harry Potter became Harry Granger, where the boy who lived grew up with the brightest witch of her age as his little sister, where love, knowledge, and family reshaped destiny. The discovery, November 1st, 1981. Dan and Emma Granger were driving home from a dental conference in London at midnight, thoroughly lost in suburban Surrey. Their 2-year-old daughter Hermione was asleep in her car seat, and they were arguing good-naturedly about whether to stop and ask for directions. "We're not lost," Dan insisted. "I know exactly where we are." "You have no idea where we are," Emma countered. "Just admit it and we can find a petrol station." "I'm a man. Men don't get lost. We take alternative routes." "Alternative routes to where?" "We've passed that same corner shop 3 times." They turned onto Privet Drive, and Emma was about to suggest turning around when she saw something that made her grab Dan's arm. "Stop the car." "Why?" "Stop the car right now." Dan braked, confused. Emma was already unbuckling her seatbelt, staring at something on a doorstep. A basket with something in it. "Emma." "What?" But she was already out of the car, running toward number 4 Privet Drive. Dan followed, leaving the car running, and his heart stopped when he saw what Emma was kneeling beside. A baby, maybe 15 months old, wrapped in blankets, left on a doorstep like a milk delivery. He was awake now, crying softly, and even in the dim streetlight, Dan could see the angry red scar on his forehead. "Who leaves a baby outside?" Emma demanded, already checking the child for injuries. "It's November. He's freezing." There was a letter tucked into the blankets. Dan picked it up, his hands shaking, and read by the streetlight. "Dear Petunia, this is your nephew, Harry Potter. His parents, Lily and James, have been murdered by a dark wizard named Voldemort. Harry survived but cannot stay in the magical world for his own safety. You are his only living relative. The blood protection created by Lily's sacrifice will keep him safe as long as he can call your house home. Please care for him. Albus Dumbledore." Dan read it twice, his mind struggling to process the words. Magical world? Dark wizard? Blood protection? What kind of bizarre joke was this? Dan, Emma's voice was shaking. "There's a scar on his forehead shaped like lightning, and this letter talks about magic and murdered parents, and this can't be real." "I don't know what this is," Dan said slowly. "But real or not, we can't leave him here. We should call the police and tell them what? That we found a baby with a letter about magic? They'll think we're insane." Dan looked at the house. All the lights were off, curtains drawn. Whoever lives here left him outside, intentionally. Emma was holding the baby now, and he'd stopped crying, his brilliant green eyes looking up at her with heartbreaking trust. "We can't just leave him." "No," Dan agreed. "We can't." They looked at each other over the baby's head. They were practical people, dentists with a young daughter and a mortgage. They didn't believe in magic or dark wizards or blood protection, but they believed in basic human decency. And leaving a baby on a doorstep was wrong, letter or no letter. "We take him to hospital," Emma decided. "Get him checked. Report him as abandoned. Let the authorities sort it out." But at the hospital, things got complicated. The baby, Harry, according to the letter, was perfectly healthy except for the strange scar. No signs of abuse or neglect, no missing children reports matching his description. The hospital social worker was sympathetic but confused. "Without knowing who he is or where he came from, he'll go into the foster system," she explained. "Could be months before they find placement, and with his age and that unusual scarring," she trailed off, but Dan heard what she didn't say. Babies with visible differences were harder to place. Emma was still holding Harry. He'd fallen asleep against her shoulder, one tiny hand fisted in her cardigan. In the waiting room, 2-year-old Hermione had woken up and toddled over, fascinated by the baby. "Baby brother?" she asked hopefully. Hermione had been asking for a sibling for months. "No, sweetie," Emma started to say, but then she looked at Dan. They'd been trying for another child for over a year, with no success. Emma had been told that another pregnancy was unlikely after complications with Hermione's birth. They'd discussed adoption, but hadn't seriously pursued it yet. "We could foster him," Dan said slowly, "temporarily, while they search for relatives." "Dan, we don't know anything about him." That letter mentioned magic. That letter is obviously someone's idea of a cruel joke. But the baby is real, and he needs somewhere safe. The fostering process moved quickly given the unusual circumstances. Within a week, Harry Potter was officially placed with the Grangers as an emergency foster. The mysterious letter was filed as evidence of abandonment, dismissed as the ravings of whoever had left him. The Grangers expected someone to come forward. Surely a baby this beautiful, this healthy, had family searching for him. But weeks passed, then months. No one claimed Harry Potter. On his second birthday, the Grangers made it official. They adopted Harry, and he became Harry Granger in all legal ways. They kept James as a middle name in honor of his birth father mentioned in the strange letter, even though they knew nothing else about the man. Harry thrived. He was a happy, curious toddler who followed Hermione everywhere. She adored her big brother fiercely, sharing toys and books and declaring to anyone who'd listen that Harry was the best brother ever. The Grangers told Harry he was adopted as soon as he was old enough to understand, showed him the letter they'd found with him, explained that his birth parents had died, that the Grangers had chosen to make him part of their family. "You mean I'm not really your son?" 4-year-old Harry asked, lower lip trembling. "You're absolutely our son," Emma assured him firmly. "Biology doesn't make a family. Love does. We chose you, Harry. We wanted you. You're ours just as much as Hermione is. Do you want me to find my birth family when I'm older? That's your choice to make someday," Dan said. "We'll support whatever you decide. But Harry, you'll always be our son. Always." Harry seemed satisfied with that. He called them Mum and Dad without hesitation, though he kept the strange letter in his room, reading it occasionally with quiet curiosity. Strange things happened around Harry as he grew. Toys would float to him when he was upset. His hair grew back overnight after Emma tried to cut it. Once when Hermione was being bullied at the park, the bully's shoelaces tied themselves together and he tripped. The Grangers didn't know what to make of it. They were rational people, scientists, who didn't believe in the supernatural. But the evidence was undeniable. Emma dug out that old letter, reading it again with new eyes. "What if it's true?" she asked Dan one night after the children were asleep. "Magic. What if Harry really is from some magical world?" "That's impossible. So is hair growing back overnight. So are toys levitating." "Dan, what if that letter wasn't a joke? If it's true, why hasn't anyone from this magical world come for him? We've had him for 4 years. Maybe they don't know where he is. We moved him from where he was left." They decided not to dwell on it. Magic or not, Harry was their son. They'd deal with whatever came, together as a family. Hermione showed signs of similar strangeness around age 6. Books would fly from shelves to her hands. Once when she was angry, every window in the house shattered simultaneously. The Grangers researched obsessively, finding nothing that explained their children's abilities, until Hermione's 11th birthday approached and an owl arrived carrying a letter. "Dear Miss Granger, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry." Emma's hands shook as she read. "It's real. Magic is real." "There's another letter," Dan said, holding up a second envelope addressed to Harry. Harry opened it with trembling hands. "Dear Mr. Granger, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry." The Grangers sat in stunned silence. Their children were magical. The letter from 10 years ago had been true, which meant Harry's birth parents really had been murdered by a dark wizard named Voldemort, and their son might be in danger they couldn't understand or protect him from.
"What do we do?"
Emma whispered. "We learn," Dan said firmly. "We learn everything we can about this world our children are part of, and we keep them safe, together." That summer, the Granger family entered the wizarding world for the first time, and nothing would ever be the same. Discovering the Wizarding World, summer 1991. The letters had included instructions to visit a place called Diagon Alley in London, accessible through a pub called the Leaky Cauldron. The Grangers stood outside the shabby-looking establishment, wondering if this was some elaborate prank. "You're sure this is the address?" Dan asked for the third time. "That's what the letter says," Emma confirmed. They walked in, and Dan's skepticism evaporated. The pub was full of people in robes and pointed hats. A woman stirred her drink with a wand. In the corner, a man read a newspaper with moving photographs. "Blimey," Harry breathed. "It's real. Magic is actually real." A tiny man behind the bar noticed them and hurried over. "First time in the magical world? You've got that look." "Tom's the name." "You'll be wanting Diagon Alley, I expect?" "Yes, please," Emma said faintly. Tom led them to a brick wall in the back courtyard and tapped it with his wand in a specific pattern. The bricks rearranged themselves, revealing a busy street full of shops with impossible goods in the windows. Harry and Hermione stared in wonder. Dan clutched Emma's hand tightly. They'd been rational, scientific people their entire lives. This was overwhelming. Where do we start? Dan asked. Gringotts first, Tom suggested. The bank. You'll need wizard money. Then Ollivanders for wands, and Flourish and Blots for books. Gringotts was staffed by creatures Tom identified as goblins. The head goblin examined the children's Hogwarts letters and consulted thick ledgers. Miss Granger, you'll need a vault established, standard procedure for Muggle-born students. The goblin's tone made Muggle-born sound like an insult, though his face remained professionally neutral. And Mr. Granger? The goblin continued, checking another ledger. His expression changed to shock. Harry Granger, formerly Harry Potter? That was his birth name, Dan confirmed. We adopted him. The goblin stood abruptly. Wait here, please. He disappeared, returning minutes later with an older goblin who examined Harry with intense interest. Harry Potter, we wondered what had become of you. You have an inherited vault from your parents, Lord and Lady Potter. Vault 687. I have a vault? Harry asked, stunned. Indeed. Quite substantial. Your parents left you well provided for. The goblin's tone was respectful now. We require a blood test to confirm identity before granting access. The blood test confirmed what the goblins suspected. This was definitely Harry Potter, son of James and Lily. The goblin handed Harry a small key. Your vault key. It has been held in trust awaiting your arrival. The goblin paused. Mr. Potter, you should know, there has been no attempt to access your vault or contact you since your parents' deaths. Most unusual for someone of your significance. Significance? Emma asked sharply. Perhaps best discussed in private. They were led to a private office, where a senior goblin explained gently. Harry Potter is famous in the wizarding world. He survived a killing curse as a baby, and the dark wizard who cast it was destroyed. He's known as the boy who lived. The Grangers listened in growing horror as the goblin outlined Voldemort's reign of terror, the Potter's murder, Harry's miraculous survival. Everyone thought you were with Muggle relatives, the goblin finished. No one knew you'd been adopted. Why would no one check on him? Dan demanded. He was a baby. That is an excellent question, the goblin said dryly. One perhaps to ask Albus Dumbledore. They exchanged Muggle money for wizard currency, took gold from Harry's vault, Harry staring in shock at the piles of gold galleons, and began shopping. At Ollivanders, the wand maker examined both children carefully. Ah, yes. Miss Granger, vine wood and dragon heartstring, 10 3/4 inches. Quite flexible. Very good for charms work. Then he turned to Harry. And you, Mr. Potter, Granger, Harry corrected firmly. My name is Harry Granger. Ollivander's expression flickered. Of course, forgive me. Let's find your wand. Harry tried wand after wand with no success. Finally, Ollivander brought out a box he'd been avoiding. Holly and phoenix feather, 11 inches, nice and supple. Very curious combination. Harry grasped it and felt warmth spread through his body. The wand emitted golden sparks. Ollivander's face went pale. Curious. Very curious. What's curious? Emma asked nervously. The phoenix whose tail feather is in your son's wand gave another feather. Just one other. That wand gave Harry Potter his scar. Silence. Emma clutched Dan's arm. You mean? Dan couldn't finish. Harry's wand and Voldemort's are brothers. I don't know what it means, but it's certainly curious. They left quickly, both children clutching their wands, the Grangers trying to process the implications. At Flourish and Blots, they bought the required school books. Hermione immediately buried herself in Hogwarts, a history while Harry read The Rise and Fall of the Dark Arts with grim fascination. There's a book about me, Harry said quietly, holding up The Boy Who Lived by Rita Skeeter. The cover showed a baby with a lightning bolt scar, smiling cherubically. Emma took it from him and skimmed through, her expression darkening. This is sensationalized rubbish. Don't believe a word. But people recognized Harry. Once word spread that Harry Potter was in Diagon Alley, they were mobbed. Witches and wizards wanted to shake his hand, thank him, get his autograph. The Grangers formed a protective barrier around their children and fled to the leaky cauldron. I don't understand, Harry said once they were safely back in the car. Why do they care about me? I didn't do anything. I was a baby. You survived what no one else did, Hermione said, looking up from her book. That makes you special to them. A symbol of Voldemort's defeat. I don't want to be a symbol. I just want to be Harry. "You are Harry," Dan assured him. "You're our son, Hermione's brother. Nothing else matters." But Dan and Emma exchanged worried looks. They'd entered a world they didn't understand, and their son was famous in ways that might be dangerous. The goblin's words echoed. "Most unusual for someone of your significance. Someone should have been watching over Harry. Someone should have checked on him." The fact that no one had for 10 years was deeply troubling. That night, Emma pulled out the original letter they'd found with Harry and read it again carefully. "Dan, this letter is addressed to someone named Petunia. Harry's aunt, presumably. But it says Dumbledore left Harry there for blood protection. What does that mean? Maybe we should try to find out." They wrote to Hogwarts, requesting a meeting with Headmaster Dumbledore before term started. They had questions. There was many questions. The reply came by owl the next morning. "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Granger, I would be delighted to meet with you. Please visit Hogwarts on August 15th at 2 p.m. I will explain everything I can." Albus Dumbledore, August 15th, arrived. The Grangers left Harry and Hermione with Emma's parents and drove to Scotland following magically appearing directions. Hogwarts Castle appeared suddenly, massive and ancient and impossible. A stern-looking woman met them at the gates. "Professor McGonagall, Deputy Headmistress. The headmaster is expecting you." They were led to an office with a spiral staircase entrance. The password was "Fizzing Whizbees." Inside, an elderly wizard with half-moon spectacles and a long silver beard smiled at them warmly. "Mr. and Mrs. Granger. Please, sit. Would you like tea?" "We want answers," Dan said bluntly. "You left our son on a doorstep, a baby, in November, outside. Why?" Dumbledore's expression became somber. "Harry was never supposed to be your son. I left him with his Aunt Petunia Dursley, his mother's sister. Blood protection created by Lily Potter's sacrifice would keep him safe there. We found him that night," Emma said. "We were lost, drove down that street by chance. When we saw a baby abandoned outside, we couldn't leave him." "You took Harry from Privet Drive?" Dumbledore looked genuinely shaken. "I had no idea. I've been monitoring the Dursleys for years and Harry never appeared there. I assumed, but I never actually checked." "Oh, this is my fault. I should have verified. You didn't check on a baby for 10 years? Dan's voice was cold. "I thought he was safe, protected. I was wrong." Dumbledore looked older suddenly. "But tell me, has Harry been happy with you?" "He's our son," Emma said fiercely. "We love him. We've given him everything we could." "Then, perhaps this accident was Providence," Dumbledore said gently. "The Dursleys would not have loved Harry. They hate magic, hate anything abnormal. He would have been miserable there." "But this blood protection," Dan started, "is lost," Dumbledore admitted. "The protection only works with blood relatives. You've given Harry love and happiness, but not magical protection. That complicates things. Voldemort's followers remain at large. When Harry's presence at Hogwarts becomes public, they may target him. Then we'll protect him," Emma said firmly. "You're Muggles," Dumbledore said, not unkindly. "You cannot protect him from magical threats." "Then teach us how," Dan demanded. "We're not giving him up. He's our son." Dumbledore studied them for a long moment. "You truly love him." "Of course we do," Emma said, bewildered. "He's our child." "Then we work together," Dumbledore decided. "I'll ensure Hogwarts is safe. You maintain his home life and emotional well-being, and Harry must learn to protect himself. His connection to Voldemort is unique and dangerous." They talked for hours. Dumbledore explained the prophecy, though he didn't reveal its exact wording. Explained Voldemort's likely return. Explained the danger Harry faced, simply by existing. The Grangers left Hogwarts terrified but determined. Their son was marked for danger they couldn't fully understand. But they'd faced it together as a family. At home, they told Harry and Hermione everything. Age-appropriate versions, at least. Harry had a right to know he was famous, that people might target him, that Voldemort might return. "I don't care about any of that," Harry said. "I just want to go to school with Hermione and learn magic." "And you will," Dan promised. "But you'll also be careful. Both of you." September 1st approached. The Grangers were sending both their children into a magical world they didn't understand, full of dangers they couldn't protect against. But they'd raise their children with love and knowledge and courage. It would have to be enough. First year, Hogwarts together, September 1st, 1991. Platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross Station was chaos. Families saying goodbye, owls hooting, trunks being loaded onto the scarlet Hogwarts Express. The Grangers stood together, Dan with his arm around Emma's shoulders, both trying not to cry as their children prepared to leave for the first time. "You have everything?" Emma asked for the 5th time. "Books, robes, wands?" "Mum," Harry said gently, "we've checked 3 times. We have everything." "And you'll write every week?" "Every week," Hermione promised, hugging her mother tightly. "Harry," Dan said seriously, "look after your sister." "Always," Harry said without hesitation. At 13, he was already taller than Hermione, protective instincts deeply ingrained from years of being her big brother. "And Hermione," Emma added, "look after your brother. He may be older, but you're the sensible one." "Hey," Harry protested with a grin. They boarded the train together, Harry helping Hermione with her trunk. They found an empty compartment and settled in, waving to their parents until the train pulled away. "We're really doing this," Hermione breathed, eyes shining with excitement. "We're going to Hogwarts." "We are," Harry agreed, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He'd read extensively about the wizarding world over the summer, knew he was famous, knew people would recognize him. He wasn't sure how he felt about that. The compartment door slid open. A round-faced boy with a toad peered in nervously. "Sorry, have you seen a toad? I've lost Trevor." "We haven't," Hermione said kindly, "but we can help you look." "I'm Hermione Granger, and this is my brother Harry." "Neville Longbottom," the boy said, then blinked at Harry. "Wait, Harry? Harry Potter?" "Harry Granger," Harry corrected firmly. "I was adopted. The Grangers are my family." "Oh," Neville said, looking confused but accepting. "Sorry, it's just, you're famous. Everyone knows about you." "Everyone except me until 2 months ago," Harry said wryly. "Come on, let's find your toad." They searched several compartments. In one, they found a boy with red hair and hand-me-down robes attempting to turn his rat yellow with a clearly fake spell. "That's not a real spell," Hermione said immediately, unable to help herself. "I've read all our textbooks, and that's not in any of them." The boy scowled. "It's one of my brother's spells." "Then your brother was having you on," Harry said, not unkindly. "I'm Harry Granger. This is my sister Hermione, and this is Neville." "We're looking for a toad," Ron Weasley, the boy said. "Haven't seen a toad." "You said Granger? But you're Harry Potter." "I'm Harry Granger," Harry repeated patiently. "Potter was my birth name, but I was adopted as a baby. The Grangers are my real family." "But you're still the Harry Potter? The boy who lived?" "I'm just Harry," he said, frustrated. "Can we please just find the toad?" They found Trevor in a compartment with Draco Malfoy and his cronies. Malfoy was holding the toad, examining it with distaste. "Is this yours, Longbottom?" Malfoy sneered. "Pathetic. Can't even keep track of your pet." "Give him back," Neville said quietly, fear in his voice. "Make me," Malfoy challenged. Harry stepped forward, placing himself between Malfoy and Neville. "Give Neville his toad." "Now?" Malfoy's eyes widened. "Harry Potter, I heard you were on the train. My father says you are the reason the Dark Lord fell." "I don't care what your father says." "Give Neville his toad. Make friends with the right sort," Malfoy continued, ignoring the request. "I can help you there. Some wizarding families are better than others. You don't want to be hanging around with mudbloods and blood traders." "What did you call my sister?" Harry's voice went dangerously quiet. "Mudblood?" Malfoy repeated, looking at Hermione. "She's Muggle-born, isn't she? Dirty blood." Harry's magic reacted before he could control it. Malfoy's robes suddenly tied themselves in knots, binding his arms to his sides. Trevor hopped free and Neville caught him. "You're Muggle-born too," Malfoy gasped. "The Grangers are Muggles. I heard all about it." "Harry Potter raised by Muggles like common trash." "I'm proud to be raised by Muggles," Harry said coldly. "My parents are brilliant, kind people who love me. That's more than I can say for anyone who teaches their son to use slurs." "Come on, Hermione. Let's go." They returned to their compartment, Neville following gratefully. Ron appeared minutes later. "That was brilliant," Ron said admiringly. "Malfoy deserved that. Can I sit with you?" "Of course," Hermione said, moving her books. They talked for the rest of the journey. Ron was fascinated by the Muggle world, asking endless questions. Neville was shy but warmed up gradually. Hermione recited facts from Hogwarts, a history, until Harry gently suggested she let others talk too. When the train arrived at Hogsmeade, they took boats across the lake together. Harry made sure Hermione was safely in their boat, Ron and Neville joining them. The first sight of Hogwarts Castle took everyone's breath away. Massive stone walls, dozens of towers, windows glowing with light. "It's beautiful," Hermione whispered. "Yeah," Harry agreed. "It really is." Professor McGonagall met them in the entrance hall and explained the sorting process. Harry felt Hermione grip his hand nervously. They might be separated into different houses. The possibility hadn't occurred to either of them until now. The Great Hall was magnificent, candles floating in midair, ceiling showing the night sky, 4 long tables full of students watching the first years enter. Harry tried to ignore the pointing and whispers as people recognized him. McGonagall placed a stool and an extremely old, patched wizard's hat. The hat opened a rip near its brim and began to sing. Harry barely heard the words, too nervous about being separated from Hermione. Names were called alphabetically. Abbott Hannah became a Hufflepuff. Bones, Susan, also Hufflepuff. Boot Harry was sorted to Ravenclaw. Granger, Harry. Harry walked forward, hearing whispers increase. He sat on the stool, and McGonagall placed the hat on his head. "Well, well," a voice said in his mind. "Harry Potter. Or Harry Granger, as you prefer. Interesting. Very interesting. Please don't separate me from Hermione," Harry thought desperately. "She's my sister. I need to protect her." "Protect her? She's quite capable of protecting herself. But I see your point. Gryffindor values loyalty and protection, yet you have a sharp mind. Ravenclaw would suit you. And ambition too. Slytherin would help you become great. I don't care about greatness. I care about my family. Loyalty above all else." "Then it had better be Hufflepuff." The announcement shocked everyone. Harry Potter, the boy who lived in Hufflepuff? The Hufflepuff table erupted in cheers while other tables looked stunned. Harry walked to his new house, receiving backslaps and handshakes, but his eyes were on Hermione. More names: Granger, Hermione. Hermione sat under the hat for nearly 4 minutes. A hat stall. The hat clearly debated between Ravenclaw and Gryffindor. Finally, Gryffindor! Hermione looked torn between pride and disappointment as she walked to the Gryffindor table. She'd wanted to be with Harry, but as she sat down, Harry caught her eye across the hall and smiled reassuringly. Different houses didn't mean they weren't still family. Neville became a Gryffindor. Ron became a Gryffindor. Draco Malfoy became a Slytherin, shooting Harry a venomous look across the hall. Dumbledore gave a speech, made announcements, and the feast appeared. Harry sat with his new housemates who were eager to talk to him. "You're really Harry Potter? Why Hufflepuff? Everyone thought you'd be Gryffindor like your parents. Is it true you defeated you-know-who as a baby?" "My name is Harry Granger," Harry said firmly, "and I'm Hufflepuff because that's where the hat put me. Can we please just eat?" A prefect named Gabriel Truman took pity on him. "Leave him alone. He's had a long day. Come on, Harry. I'll show you to the common room." After the feast, the Hufflepuffs were led to the basement level. Their common room entrance was near the kitchens, hidden behind barrels. Gabriel tapped them in a rhythm. Helga Hufflepuff. The common room was warm and cozy. Yellow hangings, comfortable armchairs, plants everywhere making the air smell like fresh earth and growth. Harry immediately felt welcome in a way he hadn't expected. "Boys' dormitories are that way," Gabriel said. "Your trunk should already be there. Get settled, and if you need anything, ask a prefect." Harry found his dormitory, circular room with 5 four-poster beds. His trunk was at the foot of one, already labeled with his name, Harry Granger. Someone had crossed out Potter and written Granger. He appreciated that. His roommates were Justin Finch Fletchley, Muggle-born, enthusiastic about everything. Wayne Hopkins, quiet, seemed nice, and Ernie Macmillan, pure blood but friendly. They all wanted to know about Harry's famous story, and he deflected as politely as possible. "Can we just treat me like a normal person?" Harry asked finally. "Please? I don't remember defeating Voldemort. I was a baby. I'm just..." "Harry, fair enough," Justin said. "But you have to tell us what it's like being raised by Muggles." "I'm Muggle-born too, and my parents are still processing the magic thing." Harry relaxed and talked about growing up Muggle, dentistry, television, normal school. His roommates listened with fascination, and Harry realized he could bridge 2 worlds here. He knew both Muggle and magical, could translate between them. Before sleeping, he pulled out parchment and wrote 2 letters. One to his parents, telling them about the sorting and his house. One to Hermione, telling her he was okay and they'd figure out the different houses. He fell asleep thinking about his sister in a different tower, hoping she was okay without him nearby, for the first time in years. Settling in. First term, the first weeks at Hogwarts established patterns that would define the next 7 years. Harry quickly became known not as Harry Potter, the boy who lived, but as Harry Granger, that nice Hufflepuff with the brilliant sister in Gryffindor. It helped that Hufflepuffs were known for loyalty and hard work rather than heroics. It gave Harry space to be normal. His reputation developed through small actions. He helped first years find their way around the castle, tutored students struggling with spell work, shared notes generously, defended a Ravenclaw from bullying by older Slytherins. Hufflepuffs valued fairness and kindness, and Harry embodied both naturally. He spent every spare moment with Hermione, studying in the library or meeting between classes. They'd never been apart before, and both found the separation difficult. Other students found it odd that a Hufflepuff and Gryffindor were so close, until they learned Harry and Hermione were siblings. "It's actually really sweet," Harry overheard a 7th-year Hufflepuff saying. "He's so protective of her, and she helps him with homework." Classes proved challenging in different ways for each of them. Hermione excelled at everything immediately, and always shooting up first, earning eye rolls from classmates who found her insufferable. Harry was more measured, intelligent but less showy, preferring to think before answering. He earned points steadily for Hufflepuff through consistent good work, rather than Hermione's flashy brilliance. Potions with Professor Snape was uncomfortable for both Grangers. Snape clearly disliked Harry on sight, though Harry had no idea why. The professor made cutting comments about Harry's techniques, deducted points for minor infractions, and generally made potions miserable. "I don't understand," Harry told Hermione after a particularly brutal lesson where Snape had called his potion utterly incompetent despite it being perfectly acceptable. "What did I do to him?" "Maybe he hates you because you're famous," Hermione suggested, "or because you're Muggle-raised. He's not much nicer to you, and you're not famous. He hates Gryffindors in general. Did you see how he treats Neville?" They studied potions together obsessively, determined not to give Snape ammunition. Harry's grades improved, though Snape never acknowledged it. Defense against the dark arts with Professor Quirrell was disappointing. The man stuttered constantly and reeked of garlic. His classes were boring, just reading from textbooks. Harry and Hermione had expected more from defense, considering it was supposed to prepare them for real threats. "We should practice on our own," Hermione decided. "The library has practical defense books. We can teach ourselves." "Is that safe?" Harry asked doubtfully. "Safer than being unprepared if something attacks us." Transfiguration with Professor McGonagall was Hermione's favorite, and Harry's second favorite, after Charms with Professor Flitwick, who appreciated Harry's careful, methodical approach. McGonagall was strict but fair, pushing all students to excel. On Halloween, everything changed. Harry was at the Hufflepuff table enjoying the feast when Professor Quirrell burst into the Great Hall screaming about a troll in the dungeons, then fainted. Panic erupted. Dumbledore ordered prefects to lead students back to dormitories. Harry's first thought was Hermione. The Gryffindors were being led away, but where was she? He scanned the Gryffindor table frantically and didn't see her bushy brown hair. "Harry, come on," Ernie Macmillan urged, pulling his arm. "My sister. I don't see Hermione. She probably already left with her house. She's not there." Harry broke free and ran toward the Gryffindor prefects. "Have you seen Hermione Granger?" "Not since this afternoon," a prefect said. "She got upset about something Ron Weasley said and ran off. We thought she'd gone to the dormitory, but she's still out there." Harry breathed. "Alone, with a troll." "Harry, you can't." But Harry was already running. He had to find Hermione, had to make sure she was safe. That was his job, protecting his little sister. He ran through corridors, checking empty classrooms. Then he smelled it. Something foul, like old socks and public toilets. He followed the stench to the girls' bathroom on the second floor. The door was hanging off its hinges. Inside, he heard Hermione scream. Harry charged in without thinking. The troll was massive, 12 feet tall, club raised high. Hermione was cornered by the sinks, wand shaking in her hand. "Hermione?" Harry yelled. The troll turned toward him, giving Hermione a chance to scramble sideways. Harry grabbed the sink and pulled, using accidental magic he didn't understand. The sink ripped free and flew at the troll's head. The troll swatted it away, but the distraction let Hermione aim properly. "Wingardium Leviosa!" she shouted, and the troll's club lifted from its hand and smashed down on its own head. The troll collapsed. Harry ran to Hermione, checking her for injuries. "Are you hurt? Did it touch you?" "I'm fine," she gasped. "Harry, you came for me." "Of course I did. You're my sister." Professor McGonagall, Snape, and Quirrell burst into the bathroom. McGonagall looked furious. "What on earth were you two thinking? You could have been killed." "It was my fault, Professor," Hermione said quickly. "I thought I could handle the troll myself. Harry came to help me." "That was foolishly brave of both of you," McGonagall said, though her expression softened slightly. 5 points will be taken from each of your houses for this dangerous foolishness. But you will each receive 10 points for defeating the troll. Mr. Granger for warning your sister despite danger to yourself. Miss Granger for quick thinking under pressure. They were sent to their common rooms, Hermione escorted by Gryffindors and Harry by Hufflepuffs. Later, through their communication system, notes passed by a friendly house elf, Hermione told Harry what Ron had said about her being an insufferable know-it-all, which was why she'd been crying in the bathroom. "I'm going to have words with Ron Weasley," Harry wrote back. "Don't." "It's fine," he apologized. "We're friends now, actually. He made you cry, and he helped you find me. He and Neville told McGonagall where we were. Let it go, Harry. Please?" Harry grudgingly let it go, but he watched Ron carefully for weeks, making sure the boy treated Hermione properly. The troll incident shifted something at Hogwarts. Harry stopped being just Harry Potter who lived and became Harry Granger who fought a troll to save his sister. Students respected that kind of loyalty, and Hermione gained friends. Ron and Harry had bonded through the experience, and where Harry went, Hermione followed, or sometimes led. November brought Quidditch season. Harry had never played but went to matches to support Gryffindor, where Ron and Hermione sat together cheering. At the first match, something went wrong with Harry Seeker's broom. It bucked wildly, trying to throw him off. Harry noticed Snape in the stands, lips moving in what looked like a spell, eyes fixed on the Seeker. Acting on instinct, Harry pushed through the crowd towards Snape, jostling him. Snape's concentration broke. The Seeker regained control and caught the snitch, winning the match. "What were you doing?" Hermione demanded later. "Snape was hexing that broom," Harry said. "I saw him. I didn't know what else to do. Why would Snape want to hurt a student? I don't know, but we should keep an eye on him." They began investigating, spending hours in the library researching what Snape might be after. Hermione found a reference to Nicholas Flamel and the Philosopher's Stone that would allegedly grant immortality. "That's what the three-headed dog is guarding," Hermione realized. "We saw it when we got lost that time. Something in the third-floor corridor." "You think Snape is trying to steal the stone?" Harry asked. "It makes sense, and if he succeeds, Voldemort could come back." They told Ron and Neville, forming a small alliance. 4 first years against a professor seemed absurd, but they couldn't just ignore the threat. Christmas approached. Most students went home, but some stayed. Harry and Hermione debated, stay and investigate or go home to their parents. "We should go home," Harry decided. "Mum and Dad are expecting us, and we haven't seen them in months. But the stone will still be here after Christmas. Come on, Hermione. Let's go home." Christmas at the Granger house was wonderful. Dan and Emma wanted to hear everything about Hogwarts. Classes, friends, magic, everything. Harry and Hermione talked over each other, describing their experiences. "And you're both doing well?" Emma asked. "Making friends?" "Harry has tons of friends," Hermione said. "Everyone loves him. He's popular without trying." "I'm not popular," Harry protested. "I just help people. That's what Hufflepuffs do." "You're the most popular first-year Hufflepuff," Hermione insisted. "Even the older students like you." "What about you?" Dan asked Hermione. "I have friends," she said, though less confidently. "Ron and Neville, and some of the Gryffindor girls are warming up to me. They think she's bossy," Harry translated. "That she's brilliant and they'll figure that out eventually." They returned to Hogwarts in January, refreshed and ready to continue investigating the stone's protection. Through careful observation and Hermione's research, they pieced together the defenses. The three-headed dog, Fluffy, named by Hagrid, Devil's Snare, plant Professor Sprout would use, flying keys, Flitwick's work, a giant chess set, McGonagall's protection, and something from Snape. "We need to be ready," Harry said seriously. If someone goes after the stone, we might need to stop them. We're first years, Ron pointed out. What can we do against a dark wizard? What we have to, Harry said firmly. We can't just let Voldemort return. They prepared as best they could, practicing spells, studying defensive magic, working as a team. Harry coordinated their efforts like a chess master, using each person's strengths. Hermione researched everything. Ron provided practical magic knowledge from growing up in the wizarding world. Neville surprised everyone with his herbiology expertise. When they finally discovered that someone would attempt the stone that very night, they were as ready as 4 first years could be. But ready or not, they were about to face challenges that would test everything they'd learned, and everything they were. The Philosopher's Stone confrontation. The night they decided to go after the stone, Harry felt fear twist in his stomach. Not fear for himself, fear for Hermione. His little sister was about to walk into danger, and every protective instinct screamed at him to make her stay behind. Absolutely not, Hermione said when he suggested it. I'm coming with you. You need me. It's going to be dangerous. Which is exactly why you need someone who's actually read our textbooks thoroughly, Hermione said tartly. Harry, we're in this together. Always. They met Ron and Neville outside the Gryffindor common room after midnight. Harry had borrowed his house's invisibility cloak. A fourth-year Hufflepuff named Cedric Diggory had lent it for important business, asking no questions. The 4 of them squeezed under the cloak and crept through corridors to the 3rd floor. The door was already ajar, which confirmed their fears. Someone was already inside. Fluffy, the massive 3-headed dog, was asleep. Someone had left a harp playing itself. They slipped through the trapdoor beneath the dog's paws and landed on something soft and vine-like. Devil's Snare, Hermione identified immediately. Don't move or it'll strangle you. We need light and heat. It hates both. Lumos Solem, Harry cast, and bright light filled the chamber. The plant recoiled, dropping them onto stone floor below. The next chamber contained hundreds of flying keys and an old broomstick. They needed a specific key, large, old-fashioned, silver with a bent wing. I'll get it, Harry said. You 3 stay here. Harry, Hermione started. I'm the best flyer. You know I am. It was true. While Harry wasn't on any house team, he'd practiced flying extensively with Cedric and other older students. I'll be fast. He mounted the broom and shot into the swarm of keys. They were charmed to avoid capture, but Harry had his mother Lily's eye for patterns. He spotted the silver key trying to hide behind others, feinted left, then dove right and snatched it. Through the door, they found the giant chess set. Ron's eyes lit up. I'm good at chess, he said. Really good, but we'll need to play as pieces. They positioned themselves, Harry as a bishop, Hermione as a castle, Neville as a knight, Ron as a second knight. Ron directed them brilliantly. But the opposing pieces were brutal. When Ron sacrificed himself to let Harry checkmate the king, Harry heard Hermione gasp as Ron was knocked unconscious. Keep going, Ron mumbled before passing out. Stop, Snape. Neville, stay with Ron, Harry ordered. Make sure he's okay. Hermione with me. Harry, we finish this together, he said firmly. You and me, always. They went through the next door expecting more challenges, but there was just a troll, already unconscious. Quirrell's work, clearly. The final chamber held the mirror of Erised and Professor Quirrell, not Snape. Quirrell, Hermione breathed. Good evening, Quirrell said without his stutter. I wondered if you'd make it. Trying to play hero, Mr. Granger? How very Gryffindor of you. Except you're not Gryffindor, are you? You're Hufflepuff. The House of Loyalty. Loyal to your mudblood sister. Don't call her that, Harry said dangerously, moving to shield Hermione. The mirror shows me presenting the stone to my master, Quirrell said, frustrated. But I cannot make it work. Perhaps you can, famous Harry Potter. Or should I say, Harry Granger? Tell me, do you hide behind that name? Ashamed of who you really are? I'm proud to be a Granger, Harry said. My family chose me, loved me. That means more than any birth name. How touching. Look in the mirror. Tell me what you see. Harry approached the mirror cautiously. His reflection showed him standing with his family. Mum, Dad, Hermione, and 2 people he recognized from photos. James and Lily Potter. Both families together, united, whole. Then his reflection smiled, reached into its pocket, and pulled out a red stone. The reflection winked and put the stone back. Harry felt sudden weight in his real pocket. "Well?" Quirrell demanded. "What do you see?" "I see myself top of my year," Harry lied smoothly. "Hermione, too. We're both getting outstanding in everything." "Liar!" Quirrell moved closer. "Let me speak to him directly." "Master, I have him," Quirrell said to the heir. "The Potter boy. He has the stone." A voice like cold death spoke. "Let me see him." Quirrell unwrapped his turban. Where the back of his head should have been was a face, flat, snake-like, with red eyes. "Harry Potter," Voldemort hissed. "The boy who lived. How gruesomely sentimental that you've taken a mudblood family. Does their filthy blood make you feel superior to your true heritage?" "My family loves me," Harry said. "That's more than you ever had." "Love?" Voldemort spat. "You sound like that fool Dumbledore. Give me the stone, boy, and I will make you powerful beyond measure. I will restore your true name. You will be Harry Potter again, not some mudblood's brother." "I am Harry Granger," Harry said clearly, "and I'll never help you." "Then you will die, along with your precious sister." Quirrell lunged at Harry. The moment his hands touched Harry's skin, Quirrell screamed. His hands blistered and burned, flesh smoking. "What is this magic?" Voldemort shrieked. Harry understood suddenly. The protection his birth mother had given him. Lily's love, combined with the Grangers' love, created something Voldemort couldn't touch. Not just blood protection, but chosen love. Harry grabbed Quirrell's face with both hands. Quirrell writhed and screamed as his skin blistered. Voldemort's spirit abandoned Quirrell's body, flowing past Harry like dark smoke. Quirrell collapsed, dead or dying. Harry stumbled backward, the stone still in his pocket, and collapsed into Hermione's arms. "Harry!" Hermione was crying. "Harry, stay awake." "The stone," Harry mumbled. "Don't let anyone." Dumbledore burst into the chamber, followed by McGonagall and Snape. "Mr. Granger, Miss Granger," Harry tried to explain, but darkness took him. Aftermath and revelations. Harry woke in the hospital wing 3 days later. The first thing he saw was Hermione asleep in a chair beside his bed, her hand clasping his. Their parents were there too, looking exhausted. "Mum?" Harry croaked. "Dad?" Emma burst into tears. Dan grabbed Harry's other hand. "You're awake." "Thank God." "What happened?" "You defeated Quirrell," Dumbledore said, appearing at the foot of the bed, "and prevented Voldemort from obtaining the stone. The stone has been destroyed. You are a hero, Harry." "I don't feel like a hero," Harry said. "I feel like an idiot who almost got his sister killed." Hermione woke at his voice. "Harry, you're awake." "Are you okay?" Harry asked urgently. "Did Voldemort hurt you?" "I'm fine. You protected me, like always. I should have made you stay behind. If you'd tried, I would have followed anyway," Hermione said firmly. "We're a team, Harry. You don't get to protect me by excluding me." The Grangers had been called immediately when their children were in the hospital wing. They'd driven through the night from London, frantic with worry. Now they looked at Dumbledore with barely controlled fury. "You told us our children would be safe here," Dan said coldly. "Yet our 13-year-old son nearly died fighting a dark wizard. How exactly is that safe?" "I am deeply sorry," Dumbledore said gravely. "I underestimated the threat. I did not anticipate Quirrell's true nature. Harry's bravery saved many lives, but he should never have been in that position." "No, he shouldn't have," Emma agreed. "He's a child. Both of them are children. They should be learning magic, not fighting dark wizards." "You're right, of course," Dumbledore acknowledged. "But I'm afraid this is the reality of Harry's situation. Voldemort will return, and when he does, Harry will be his primary target. Not because Harry seeks conflict, but because the prophecy marks him as Voldemort's equal." "Then we take him out of Hogwarts," Dan said immediately. "We'll homeschool him. Both of them. Keep them away from danger." "Dad, no," Harry protested. "I want to stay at Hogwarts. I need to learn how to protect myself." "He's right," Dumbledore said gently. "Running would only delay the inevitable. Better Harry learns to defend himself here, surrounded by people who can help him." The Grangers argued, but eventually conceded. Harry and Hermione wanted to stay. They'd made friends here. This was where they belonged. Ron and Neville visited daily during Harry's recovery. Ron looked guilty about being knocked out and missing the final confrontation. Neville was just relieved everyone survived. "You lot are mad," Ron said cheerfully. "Brilliant, but completely mad." Says the boy who sacrificed himself in chess, Hermione pointed out. That's different. Chess, I understand. Fighting you-know-who is mental. The end of term came quickly. At the final feast, Dumbledore announced the House Cup standings. Slytherin was winning by a significant margin until last-minute points were awarded to Mr. Ronald Weasley for the best-played game of chess Hogwarts has seen in many years, 50 points to Gryffindor. To Miss Hermione Granger for keeping a cool head under pressure and protecting her brother, 50 points to Gryffindor. And to Mr. Harry Granger for courage, loyalty, and protecting those he loves at great personal risk, 60 points to Hufflepuff. The hall erupted in cheers. The points didn't win either house the cup. Ravenclaw ultimately won. But they elevated both Gryffindor and Hufflepuff significantly. Harry noticed Dumbledore's careful wording. Protecting those he loves, not the stone or the school. Dumbledore understood what motivated Harry. Not heroics or glory, but love for his family. On the train home, Harry and Hermione sat with Ron and Neville, already planning next year. Do you think it'll be this exciting every year? Neville asked nervously. I hope not, Harry said. I'd like one year where we just learn magic and don't nearly die. Where's the fun in that, Ron joked. At King's Cross, the Grangers swept both their children into fierce hugs. Dan held Harry's shoulders, looking him in the eye. I'm proud of you, he said seriously. You protected your sister and stopped a dark wizard. That took real courage. But Harry, next time something like this happens, tell a professor. Tell us. Let adults handle it. Promise me. I promise to try, Harry said honestly. But if Hermione's in danger, I'm not waiting for permission to protect her. Dan looked at Emma helplessly. She sighed. You raised them to be brave and look after each other. We can't be surprised when they do exactly that. That summer, the Grangers worked to understand the magical world better. They read every book they could find about wizarding culture, history, and threats. They needed to protect their children, which meant understanding what they were up against. Harry and Hermione practiced magic carefully at home, nothing that would trigger underage magic detection, but theoretical study and wand movement practice. They'd faced Voldemort once. They needed to be ready if it happened again. In August, Dan sat both children down, seriously. Your mother and I have been thinking. What happened with Quirrell and Voldemort? That's not going to be an isolated incident, is it? No, Harry admitted. Voldemort's going to keep trying to come back. And he's going to target me because of the prophecy. Then you need to be prepared, Emma said. Really prepared. Not just school lessons, but actual defense training. We thought about hiring a tutor, Dan continued. Someone to teach you practical defense during summers. That's brilliant, Hermione said immediately. We need more practical training. Defense class with Quirrell was useless. They spent the rest of summer researching private defense tutors and making plans. The Grangers might be Muggles, but they were intelligent, resourceful, and fiercely protective. If their children were going to face dark wizards, they'd be as prepared as possible. Second year approached rapidly. Harry was excited to return to Hogwarts, see his friends, continue learning. But he also felt apprehensive. First year had been dangerous. What would second year bring? He had no idea how right he was to be worried. Second year, the Chamber of Secrets, September 1st, 1992. The Grangers dropped Harry and Hermione at King's Cross with the usual reminders to be careful, write often, and look after each other. This year felt different. Their parents knew what dangers existed at Hogwarts, and that knowledge showed in their worried faces. On the train, Harry and Hermione found a compartment with Ron and Neville. They were joined by a dreamy-looking girl with blonde hair and large eyes. Luna Lovegood, she introduced herself. I'm a second-year Ravenclaw. You're Harry Granger and Hermione Granger. You fought you-know-who last year. Word got around? Harry asked wryly. Everyone knows, Luna said serenely. You're famous. Well, Harry's always been famous, but now Hermione is too. The brightest witch of her age who saved her brother from a dark wizard. I didn't save him, Hermione protested. We saved each other. That's nice, Luna said. Most siblings fight constantly. You two actually like each other. They did fight occasionally. Harry thought Hermione studied too much. Hermione thought Harry was too quick to defend her when she could defend herself. But they loved each other fiercely, and everyone could see it. At Hogwarts, the sorting ended, and Dumbledore made his announcements. Then he introduced their new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Gilderoy Lockhart. Harry recognized him immediately from Flourish and Blots, where Lockhart had been signing books over summer. The man was a preening peacock who tried to use Harry for publicity photos. Harry had declined firmly, and Lockhart had looked offended. "He's going to be useless," Hermione predicted. "His books are probably exaggerated. No one person could have done all those things." Harry's second year in Hufflepuff started well. He was popular now, known for loyalty and bravery. His housemates respected him, and he'd become something of a mentor to first years. But things started going wrong in October. Mrs. Norris Filch's cat was found petrified, written on the wall in what looked like blood. "The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the heir, beware." The school erupted in fear and speculation. Harry researched the chamber immediately, knowing his sister, Muggle-born Hermione, would be a target if the rumors were true. "According to Hogwarts, a history," Hermione explained in the library, "Salazar Slytherin built a secret chamber, housing a monster only his heir could control. It's supposed to purge the school of Muggle-borns." "That's insane," Ron said, "and terrifying. We need to find out what's in the chamber," Harry decided. "If there's really a monster targeting Muggle-borns, we need to stop it before someone gets killed." They investigated carefully. More attacks followed. Colin Creevey, a Gryffindor first year, was petrified. Then Justin Finch Fletchley, Harry's own Hufflepuff roommate and friend. Harry found Justin's body and stood over it protectively until professors arrived. The scene looked bad. Harry standing over a petrified Muggle-born, a snake carved on the wall nearby. Some students started whispering that Harry was the heir of Slytherin. "That's ridiculous," Hermione defended him fiercely. "Harry's Muggle-raised. Why would he target Muggle-borns? Maybe he resents being raised by Muggles," Draco Malfoy said loudly in the corridor. "Maybe he wishes he'd been raised by proper wizards instead of mudblood lovers." Harry's magic reacted before he could control it. Malfoy's robes caught fire. Harry extinguished them immediately, but the damage was done. He'd attacked another student, seemingly confirming suspicions. That was self-defense of his sister's honor. Ernie Macmillan defended Harry later in the Hufflepuff common room. Malfoy used a slur. Harry reacted. Anyone would have, most Hufflepuffs agreed, loyal to their housemate. But the rumors persisted. The real breakthrough came when Hermione was researching in the library and found a reference to basilisks in a book about magical creatures. She'd been taking notes frantically when she was attacked, the basilisk's reflection in a mirror petrified rather than killed her. Harry found her body in the library, her hand clutching a note. He read it with shaking hands. Basilisk. Snake. Pipes. Don't look directly at it. Harry felt something break inside him. Hermione, his brilliant, brave little sister, was petrified, stone still, frozen, possibly dying, and he hadn't protected her. Ron and Neville found him sitting beside Hermione's bed in the hospital wing, holding her hand and crying. "We're going to find who did this," Ron promised. "We're going to stop them. No one else is getting hurt," Harry said, voice cold with determination. "I don't care what it takes. This ends now." When Ginny Weasley disappeared, taken into the chamber itself, Harry didn't hesitate. The teachers were searching frantically, but finding nothing. Harry found Professor Lockhart in his office, packing to flee. "You're supposed to be the defense teacher," Harry said coldly. "A student's been taken by a monster. You're going to help me save her." "I don't think," Harry drew his wand. That wasn't a request. With Lockhart at wand point, Harry investigated where he'd seen writing on walls. He found a bathroom that Hermione had mentioned. Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. The ghost told him about dying 50 years ago, seeing yellow eyes. "The entrance is here," Harry realized, "in the pipes, but I need to speak Parseltongue to open it." "You're a Parselmouth?" Ron breathed. He'd come despite Harry ordering him to stay safe. Apparently. Harry hadn't known until words in snake language came out of his mouth at the sink. The pipes revealed a tunnel leading down into darkness. They descended, Harry, Ron, and a terrified Lockhart. The tunnel led to a massive chamber deep under the school, decorated with snake imagery. In the center lay Ginny Weasley, looking pale and still. Standing over her was a teenage boy Harry didn't recognize, translucent like a ghost but more solid. "Tom Riddle," the boy introduced himself. "Or as I'm better known, Lord Voldemort." Harry's blood ran cold. "You're Voldemort?" A memory preserved in a diary, feeding off Ginny Weasley's life force. "She opened the chamber for me, wrote my messages, set my basilisk on mudbloods, all while thinking she was going mad." "Let her go," Harry demanded. "I think not. I want to talk to the famous Harry Potter, or should I say Harry Granger." Riddle's lip curled. You rejected your heritage for Muggle filth. Your parents died fighting me, and you spit on their memory by taking a mudblood's name. The Grangers are my family, Harry said. They chose me, loved me, raised me. That's worth more than any magical heritage. How touching. Let me show you what your precious family can't protect you from. Riddle spoke in parcel tongue, calling the basilisk. The massive serpent emerged from the statue's mouth, 60 feet of scales and death. Harry averted his eyes, knowing direct eye contact meant instant death. But fighting blind was nearly impossible. The basilisk struck, Harry dodged, and chaos erupted. Fawkes appeared suddenly, Dumbledore's phoenix, and clawed out the basilisk's eyes. The basilisk thrashed wildly, now blind but still deadly. Fawkes dropped something in Harry's hands. The sorting hat. Harry reached into the hat desperately and felt his fingers close around a sword hilt. He pulled out a magnificent sword, Godric Gryffindor's sword, which appeared to those who showed true bravery. The basilisk lunged, jaw open to swallow Harry whole. Harry thrust the sword upward through the roof of the basilisk's mouth and into its brain. The creature shuddered and died, but a fang had pierced Harry's arm. Basilisk venom spread through his veins, burning like fire. He stumbled toward the diary, Tom Riddle's anchor to existence, and stabbed it with the broken fang. Riddle screamed and dissolved. Ginny woke up gasping. Fawkes flew to Harry and cried phoenix tears on his wound, healing the venom. Harry, Ginny whispered. I'm sorry. I didn't mean, I couldn't control. It's not your fault, Harry assured her, though he could barely stand. You were being controlled. Come on, let's get out of here. They emerged from the chamber hours later, exhausted and traumatized, but alive. Dumbledore was waiting with the Weasleys and the Grangers. Harry, Emma ran to him, checking him for injuries. You went into the chamber, alone? I had to. Ginny was dying. You could have died, but I didn't. Harry looked at Hermione's petrified form in the hospital wing. Is there a cure? Professor Sprout is brewing mandrake restorative draught, Dumbledore said gently. Hermione and the others will be cured within weeks. Weeks, Harry's voice broke. She's been like this for a month already. I know this is hard, Dumbledore said, but she will recover fully. You saved everyone, Harry. The basilisk is dead, the chamber is closed. You are a hero again. I don't want to be a hero, Harry said tiredly. I just want my sister back. The mandrake restorative draught was administered 3 weeks later. Harry sat beside Hermione's bed, waiting. When her eyes opened and focused on him, he burst into tears. Harry, Hermione croaked. Why are you crying? You were petrified for nearly 2 months, Harry said. I thought I'd lost you. You saved me, Hermione realized, sitting up slowly. You killed the basilisk and closed the chamber. I read my notes when I woke up. Harry, you fought a 60-foot serpent with a sword? It seemed like a good idea at the time. Hermione hugged him fiercely. You're an idiot, a brave, wonderful idiot. Second year ended with Hufflepuff winning the House Cup. The points awarded for Harry's defeat of the basilisk pushed them over. Harry accepted the honor but felt hollow. Yes, he'd stopped the monster, but Hermione and others had been hurt because he hadn't figured it out sooner. You need to stop blaming yourself, Hermione told him firmly on the train home. You did everything you could. You saved everyone. I should have protected you better. Harry, I'm not helpless. I don't need protecting every second. Yes, you're my big brother and you look out for me. But I can take care of myself too. We're partners, remember? Partners, Harry agreed quietly. That summer, Dan and Emma insisted on hiring a defense tutor as planned. A retired Auror named Kingsley Shacklebolt came recommended by Dumbledore. He taught Harry and Hermione practical defense, dodging, shielding, offensive spells, situational awareness. You two have good instincts, Kingsley observed after a session, but you rely too much on each other. Harry, you need to trust Hermione can handle herself. Hermione, you need to let Harry protect you without arguing every time. Balance. They worked on that balance all summer. By September, they were a formidable team. Harry, the instinctive fighter with protective instincts. Hermione, the strategic thinker with encyclopedic knowledge. Third year was about to bring challenges that would test that partnership in ways neither expected. Third year, serious Black and family secrets. The summer before third year brought shocking news. At breakfast one August morning, Dan was reading the Daily Prophet. He'd subscribed to stay informed about the magical world when he went pale. "Emma, look at this." The headline screamed, "Mass Murderer Sirius Black Escapes Azkaban." Below was a photo of a gaunt man with long matted hair, sunken eyes, and an expression of manic fury. The article described his crimes: betraying James and Lily Potter to Voldemort, murdering Peter Pettigrew and 12 Muggles, escaping the inescapable prison. "Harry," Emma called, "come down here, please." Hermione, too. They read the article together. Harry felt something cold settle in his chest. This man, Sirius Black, had betrayed his birth parents, had been their friend and sold them to Voldemort for power. "Why are you showing us this?" Harry asked quietly. "Because the article says Black was obsessed with you," Dan explained, "with Harry Potter. They think he escaped to find you, to finish what Voldemort started." "That's ridiculous," Harry said. "Voldemort's gone. Killing me won't bring him back." "The article suggests Black is insane," Emma said gently. 12 years in Azkaban broke him. He might not be thinking rationally. "Harry, you need to be careful this year. Dumbledore will protect the school," Hermione said confidently. "He won't let a murderer near students." But Harry felt uneasy. Another threat, another year of danger. Would he ever get to just learn magic in peace? The train ride to Hogwarts was interrupted when the Hogwarts Express stopped suddenly, lights flickering out. The temperature dropped precipitously, frost forming on windows. "What's happening?" Hermione whispered, pressing close to Harry's side. The compartment door slid open. A creature floated in, tall, cloaked, its breath rattling like death itself. Harry felt every happy memory drain away, heard his mother screaming, felt terror overwhelm him. A spell of silvery light drove the creature away. A shabby-looking man in the compartment, a professor apparently, had saved them. "Dementor," the man explained, offering Harry chocolate. "Prison guards from Azkaban, stationed around the school to catch Sirius Black. They affect people badly, make you relive your worst memories." "Chocolate helps." Harry ate the chocolate mechanically, disturbed. He'd heard his mother screaming before she died. Lily Potter's last moments, protecting him from Voldemort. It was the first time he'd really confronted what his birth parents had done for him. "I'm Professor Lupin," the shabby man introduced himself. "Your new defense against the dark arts teacher. You must be Harry Granger. You look just like your father." "And you're Hermione, his sister? You knew my birth father?" Harry asked. "James and I were best friends at school," Lupin said, expression distant. "Along with Sirius Black and Peter Pettigrew. We called ourselves the Marauders. The man who betrayed them was your friend?" "He was," Lupin said sadly. "Or we thought he was. Sirius fooled us all. At Hogwarts, Dumbledore announced that Dementors would be guarding the school. Harry felt their presence constantly, cold, draining, making him hear his mother's death over and over. "I hate them," he told Hermione, after a particularly bad Dementor encounter left him shaking. "They make me hear her dying, screaming for me. I can't handle it." "Then we learn to fight them," Hermione decided. "There must be defensive magic." Professor Lupin agreed to teach Harry the Patronus charm, advanced magic that repelled Dementors. Harry struggled at first, unable to summon happy enough memories while the Dementors were near. "Think of your happiest memory," Lupin coached. "Not just pleasant, truly happy. A moment of pure joy." Harry thought of the night the Grangers told him they were adopting him officially. He'd been 3 years old, barely understanding, but knowing he was wanted. Chosen, loved. "Expecto Patronum!" Silver mist erupted from his wand, but no corporeal form yet. "Good," Lupin encouraged. "Keep practicing. You're doing remarkably well for a 3rd year." Meanwhile, the threat of Sirius Black loomed. Security was tight. Students weren't allowed outside alone. Harry chafed at the restrictions, but understood they were for his protection. Then came Halloween, and everything changed. Someone slashed the fat lady's portrait trying to get into Gryffindor Tower. Sirius Black had been inside the castle. Students slept in the Great Hall that night while professors searched. Harry lay awake, aware that a murderer wanted him dead. "I won't let him hurt you," Hermione whispered from her sleeping bag next to his. Gryffindors and Hufflepuffs had been placed together for safety. "He was my parents' best friend," Harry whispered back. "How could he betray them like that? Some people are just evil." But Harry couldn't stop thinking about it. Sirius Black had held him as a baby, according to photos in the Daily Prophet's archive, had been James Potter's best friend, closer than brothers. What had made him turn? In December, the Gryffindor versus Hufflepuff Quidditch match saw Harry face Dementors again. He'd been made Hufflepuff Seeker this year, finally joining the house team. The match was intense, but when Dementors swarmed the pitch, Harry summoned his Patronus, Expecto Patronum. A full corporeal Patronus burst from his wand, a silver stag that charged the Dementors, scattering them. Harry caught the snitch, winning the match, but more importantly, he'd cast a Patronus that rivaled adult magic. That was a corporeal Patronus, Professor Lupin said, awed. Harry, that's Newt-level magic. How did you manage it? I thought about my family, Harry explained. All of them, Mom, Dad, Hermione, being chosen, being loved. That's my happiest memory. Later, in private, Lupin showed Harry a map, the Marauder's map, showing everyone in Hogwarts. Your father helped create this. Harry studied the map, seeing the tiny labeled dots moving around. He found Hermione Granger in the library. Of course she was. Found Ronald Weasley in Gryffindor Tower. Then his eyes caught something impossible. In the Gryffindor boys' dormitory, a dot labeled Peter Pettigrew. Professor, Harry said slowly. Peter Pettigrew is supposed to be dead. Why does the map show him alive in the Gryffindor dormitory? Lupin went very still. Show me. They stared at the map together. Peter Pettigrew was moving around Ron Weasley's dormitory. Scabbers, Harry breathed. Ron's rat. He's had that rat for years. Professor, what if Pettigrew is an animagus? If Peter is alive, Lupin said, voice shaking, then Sirius didn't betray James and Lily. Peter did. And Sirius has been in Azkaban 12 years for crimes he didn't commit. They went to Dumbledore immediately. Within hours, the castle was being searched for the rat. Ron was devastated to learn his pet was actually a Death Eater, but he helped trap Scabbers in his dormitory. When they cornered the rat, it transformed into a balding man with a pointed nose, trembling and trying to flee. Peter Pettigrew very much alive. Sirius Black burst into the room moments later, gaunt, wild-eyed, but his wand aimed at Pettigrew with steady hatred. You sold them, Sirius said, voice raw. You sold James and Lily to Voldemort, and you let me take the blame. I had no choice, Pettigrew squealed. The Dark Lord would have killed me, so you killed them instead, Sirius snarled. Wait, Harry interrupted, stepping forward. Everyone turned to stare at him. You're Sirius Black. You're my father's best friend. I'm your godfather, Sirius said hoarsely. James and Lily asked me to be your guardian if anything happened to them. I failed. I should have been secret keeper myself, but I suggested Peter instead. My fault they died. My fault you grew up without them. I grew up loved, Harry said quietly. The Grangers adopted me. They're my family. Something complicated crossed Sirius's face, relief and grief and loss. Then you were luckier than I could have given you. I thought you were with Lily's awful sister. Spent 12 years in Azkaban planning how to break you out of that house. I was never there. We passed each other on the street by chance the night Dumbledore left me. The Grangers took me home instead. Providence, Sirius said softly. James would be glad you had love, even if it wasn't me providing it. Pettigrew tried to escape, but was captured. With Veritaserum, he confessed everything, betraying the Potters, framing Sirius, hiding as a rat for 12 years. Sirius was exonerated publicly, his name cleared. The Grangers met Sirius when they visited Hogwarts for the trial. The meeting was awkward. Sirius was Harry's godfather by birth, but Dan and Emma were his real parents. Thank you, Sirius told them simply, for loving him when I couldn't, for giving him a home and family. James and Lily would be grateful. Harry is our son, Dan said firmly. We're not giving him up. I wouldn't ask you to, Sirius assured them. I'm not his father, you are. But maybe I could be part of his life, as a godfather should have been? They agreed carefully. Sirius could visit, write to Harry, be part of his extended family. Harry was cautiously pleased. He had a connection to his birth parents now, someone who'd known them and could tell him stories. What were they like? Harry asked Sirius one evening. James and Lily? James was brave, loyal, sometimes arrogant, Sirius said with a fond smile. Best friend I ever had. He'd have loved that you're in Hufflepuff. Loyalty suits you. Lily was brilliant, kind, fierce when protecting people she loved. You have her eyes and her heart. Do you think they'd be disappointed I took a different name? They'd be proud you found love and family, Sirius said firmly. That's what they wanted for you more than anything. third year ended with Harry feeling settled. He had his adoptive family who loved him unconditionally, a godfather who connected him to his birth parents, friends who'd stand by him, and growing skill in defensive magic. But fourth year was approaching, and with it came challenges that would test everything. Fourth year, the Tri-Wizard Tournament. Fourth year began with excitement. Hogwarts would host the Tri-Wizard Tournament, a magical competition between 3 schools. Students had to be 17 to enter, which suited Harry perfectly. He was 14 and had no interest in more danger. The Durmstrang and Beauxbatons students arrived in October with great fanfare. Among them was Victor Krum, international Quidditch star. Ron was starstruck. Hermione rolled her eyes. When the Goblet of Fire selected champions, 3 names emerged as expected: Cedric Diggory from Hufflepuff, Fleur Delacour from Beauxbatons, and Victor Krum from Durmstrang. Then a 4th name appeared: Harry Granger. The great hall erupted in confusion and shouting. Harry sat frozen at the Hufflepuff table, mind blank with shock. "I didn't put my name in," he said numbly. "Someone else did," Hermione said, grabbing his hand. "Someone who wants you in this tournament." The other champions and Harry were taken to a side room. Officials argued about whether Harry could compete, he was underage, but the goblet selection created a binding magical contract. Harry had to compete or face death. "This is a trap," Harry told Dumbledore privately. "Someone put my name in knowing I'd have to compete. Why? I don't know yet," Dumbledore admitted. "But we'll discover their purpose. In the meantime, you must compete as safely as possible." Harry's fellow Hufflepuffs were divided. Some believed he'd cheated to enter, seeking more glory. Others, led by Cedric and Harry's friends, defended him. The house split uncomfortably. "I didn't enter," Harry kept insisting. "I don't want to compete." "We believe you," Cedric said firmly. "And as house champion, I'm offering to help you prepare. We're both Hufflepuff. We should support each other." Hermione, Ron, and Neville also helped Harry prepare. They researched extensively, practiced spells, strategized for each task. The first task was dragons. Harry drew the Hungarian horntail, the most dangerous dragon. His plan was simple: outfly it and grab the golden egg. He summoned his firebolt broom and flew, dodging the dragon's flames using superior speed and maneuverability. He snatched the egg, but got burned on his shoulder doing it. Madame Pomfrey healed him quickly, and he'd scored well enough to tie for first place with Krum and Cedric. The second task required rescuing someone precious from the lake. Harry discovered his precious person was Hermione. She'd been placed under sleeping enchantment and held underwater by merpeople. Harry used gillyweed to breathe underwater and swam down. He found Hermione, Ron, Cedric's girlfriend Cho, and a young Beauxbatons girl all tied up. He freed Hermione first, then hesitated, seeing the others still bound. "Take only your own," the merpeople warned. But Harry couldn't leave them. He waited until the other champions arrived, ensuring everyone was rescued. He finished last but gained extra points for moral fiber in refusing to abandon others. "You idiot," Hermione said fondly. "You could have won, but stayed to save people who weren't even yours to rescue." "I couldn't just leave them there," Harry protested. The third task was a maze full of obstacles. Harry and Cedric, both Hufflepuffs, agreed to work together where possible. They helped each other through challenges. Harry handled a blast-ended Scroot, Cedric dealt with a boggart. They reached the Triwizard Cup simultaneously and grabbed it together, agreeing to share the victory. The cup was a portkey. They were yanked away from Hogwarts, landing in a dark graveyard. Harry's scar exploded with pain. A high, cold voice spoke. "Kill the spare." Green light hit Cedric. He fell, dead before hitting the ground. "Cedric!" Harry screamed, but he was being bound to a tombstone by Peter Pettigrew. The rat-faced man was chanting, performing a dark ritual. A monstrous, baby-like creature was placed in a cauldron. Pettigrew added ingredients: bone from the grave, his own severed hand, and blood forced from Harry's arm. The potion turned scarlet and gold. Something rose from the cauldron. A man, tall and skeletal, with red eyes and slits for nostrils. Voldemort was reborn. "Harry Granger," Voldemort hissed. "The boy who lived. You rejected your true heritage, taking mudblood filth as your family. Tonight you die as you should have died 13 years ago." Death Eaters apparated in, forming a circle. Voldemort released Harry from his bonds, gave him his wand back. He wanted to duel. to prove himself superior before killing Harry publicly. Harry knew he couldn't win. Voldemort was the most powerful dark wizard alive. But Harry thought of Hermione, his parents, Cedric's body lying meters away. He wouldn't die without fighting. They dueled. Harry dodged and blocked, using every defensive technique Kingsley had taught him. But Voldemort was overwhelming, his magic centuries beyond Harry's skill. Then their spells connected, brother wands creating priori incantatem. Golden light webbed between them. Ghost echoes of Voldemort's victims emerged. Cedric, an old man, a woman, and finally, James and Lily Potter. Harry, Lily's ghost whispered. "We're so proud of you. So proud of who you've become." When the connection breaks, James added, "Run. Get to the cup. Get home." Harry broke the connection and ran. Death Eaters tried to stop him, but he sent up red sparks, grabbed Cedric's body and the cup simultaneously, and felt the portkey activate. He crashed onto Hogwarts grounds, still clutching Cedric, surrounded by cheering crowds that hadn't yet realized what had happened. "He's back," Harry shouted. "Voldemort's back. He killed Cedric. He's back." Chaos erupted. Dumbledore reached Harry first, saw Cedric's body, saw the truth in Harry's eyes. "Get him to my office." Now, the aftermath was nightmare fuel. Harry gave testimony under Veritaserum, proving everything. The Minister Fudge refused to believe Voldemort had returned, calling Harry disturbed and attention-seeking. The Grangers arrived at Hogwarts and found their son traumatized, covered in blood, having witnessed a classmate's murder and barely escaped death himself. "We're taking him home," Emma said fiercely. "Both our children. They're not staying here if Voldemort is really back." "Mom, we can't run," Harry said tiredly. "Voldemort will find me eventually. Better I stay here and learn to fight him. You're 14 years old, and he's marked me as his equal. I don't get to opt out of this war." The Grangers stayed at Hogwarts for weeks, refusing to leave their children. They met with Dumbledore, with the Order of the Phoenix, with anyone who could help protect Harry and Hermione. Sirius arrived and held Harry while he cried for Cedric, for normalcy lost, for the childhood that was definitively over now. "It's not fair," Harry said. "I just wanted to learn magic and be normal." "I know," Sirius said gently. "But you're Harry Granger, and that means something. You've got family who loves you, friends who'll stand with you, and more courage than anyone should have to carry. You'll survive this." Fourth year ended with Harry grieving, the wizarding world divided about Voldemort's return, and war approaching fast. Fifth year, resistance and preparation. Fifth year brought Dolores Umbridge, ministry interference, and the formation of Dumbledore's army. But with one crucial difference, Harry had Hermione organizing from the start, and together they were formidable. Umbridge tried to suppress information about Voldemort, teaching useless theory and punishing anyone who mentioned the Dark Lord's return. She targeted Harry specifically, making him write lines that carved words into his hand. "I must not tell lies." When Hermione saw the scars, she was furious. "That's illegal. That's torture." "She's protected by the Ministry," Harry said tiredly. "What can we do?" "We teach ourselves," Hermione decided. "If she won't prepare us for war, we'll prepare ourselves." They formed Dumbledore's army in the Room of Requirement. Harry taught defensive magic to anyone who wanted to learn. All houses, all years. His reputation as someone who'd faced Voldemort multiple times gave him credibility. "We're not just learning to pass exams," Harry told the group. "We're learning to survive a war. Voldemort is back. Whether the Ministry admits it or not, we need to be ready." Hermione organized everything. Schedules, lesson plans, security. Ron helped recruit members. Neville, who'd grown in confidence over the years, became one of their best students. Luna Lovegood joined, as did Ginny Weasley. Even some Slytherins came, wanting practical defense regardless of politics. Harry taught Patronuses, shield charms, stunning spells, disarming techniques. He taught them to work in pairs, to protect each other, to think strategically. "You're really good at this," Hermione observed after a session. "Teaching, I mean. You should consider it as a career." "Let me survive the war first," Harry said wryly. Umbridge discovered the DA eventually and tried to expel everyone involved. But Dumbledore took the blame and fled, leaving Hogwarts in Umbridge's control. The school became oppressive. Umbridge appointed an inquisitorial squad from Slytherin students to police others. She banned everything fun, made lists of prohibited items, turned Hogwarts into a prison. Harry continued the DA in secret, now teaching not just defense but resistance. how to undermine authority non-violently, how to protect each other from Umbridge's punishments. The Grangers were horrified when they learned about the situation. Dan and Emma came to Hogwarts and demanded a meeting with the Board of Governors. "You've put a torturer in charge of children," Dan said coldly. "My son has scars on his hand from her detention. That ends now." "Mr. Granger," the board chairman said patronizingly, "you're a Muggle. You don't understand how magical education—" "I understand child abuse," Emma interrupted. "And if you don't remove her, I'm going to every newspaper in magical Britain with evidence. Imagine the scandal. The famous Harry Potter tortured at Hogwarts under ministry orders. The threat worked partially. Umbridge had to stop using blood quills, though she remained in charge. In June, Harry had a vision of Sirius being tortured at the Ministry of the Magic. He knew it was a trap. Voldemort wanted him at the Department of Mysteries to retrieve a prophecy only Harry could access. But he couldn't risk Sirius's life on that assumption. "We go together," Hermione said firmly. "DA members, everyone who's willing. We're not letting you face this alone." Harry, Hermione, Ron, Neville, Ginny, and Luna traveled to the Ministry. They found the Department of Mysteries and the Hall of Prophecy. Hermione grabbed the prophecy orb with Harry's name on it, just as Death Eaters appeared. "Give us the prophecy, little boy," Lucius Malfoy demanded. The battle that followed was chaos. 6 teenagers against a dozen Death Eaters. Harry and his friends fought brilliantly, years of DA training paying off. They protected each other, worked as a unit, held their own longer than anyone expected, but they were outmatched. The Death Eaters would have won if the Order of the Phoenix hadn't arrived. Sirius, Lupin, Tonks, Mad-Eye Moody, and others. The prophecy shattered during the fight. Voldemort himself appeared and dueled Dumbledore, the 2 most powerful wizards alive, throwing magic that shook the building. Voldemort tried to possess Harry at one point, flooding his mind with hatred, but Harry thought of love. His parents, Hermione, his family, and Voldemort couldn't stay. Love burned the Dark Lord out. The Ministry officials witnessed Voldemort's appearance. Fudge could no longer deny the truth. The war was officially on. Back at Hogwarts, Dumbledore finally told Harry the full prophecy. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches, born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the 7th month dies, and the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal. But he will have power, the Dark Lord knows not, and either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. Harry listened to the words that had defined his life before he was born. "So I have to kill Voldemort, or he kills me. No other option." "I'm afraid not," Dumbledore said gently. "What's the power he knows not?" Hermione asked. "The prophecy mentions it." "Love," Dumbledore said simply. "The love your mother gave Harry by sacrificing herself. The love the Grangers gave by choosing him. Love is the most powerful magic, and Voldemort cannot understand or use it." That summer, the Grangers made a decision. If war was truly coming, they would fight. They might be Muggles, but they were Harry and Hermione's parents. They would protect their children with everything they had. They trained with Order members, learning defensive magic through creative means. Wands were useless in their hands, but they could throw potions, create physical barriers, operate magical weapons. "We're not helpless," Dan said stubbornly. "Our children are targets. We're not sitting back watching them fight alone." The war intensified through 6th and 7th years. Harry learned about Horcruxes from Dumbledore. Voldemort had split his soul 7 ways to achieve immortality. They had to destroy all the Horcruxes before Voldemort could be killed permanently. Harry, Hermione, Ron, and others hunted Horcruxes together. The locket from the cave, the cup from Gringotts, the diadem from Hogwarts. Each one was a deadly challenge. Dumbledore died during the hunt for the locket, killed by Snape in what they later learned was a mercy killing. Dumbledore was already dying from a curse, and Snape's act protected his cover as a spy. The Battle of Hogwarts came in May of 7th year. Voldemort's army attacked the castle. Students, teachers, Order members, and even the Grangers fought together. Dan and Emma Granger fought with Molly Weasley, throwing potions and creating barriers. They were terrified but determined, protecting the children around them. Harry learned he was the last Horcrux. A piece of Voldemort's soul lived in his scar. He walked into the Forbidden Forest to die, knowing it was the only way. He thought of his family as he walked, not just the Grangers, but James and Lily too. All the people who'd loved him. He was ready. Voldemort cast the killing curse. Harry's world went white. Epilogue. 19 years later, King's Cross Station, September 1st, 2017. Platform 9 3/4 was crowded with families seeing children off to Hogwarts. Harry Granger stood with his wife Ginny and their 3 children. Beside them were Hermione and Ron with their 2 children. The Granger siblings were sending their children to Hogwarts together, continuing the family tradition. "You'll write every week?" Emma Granger asked, hugging her grandson James for the 3rd time. She and Dan were older now, gray-haired but still fiercely devoted to their family. "Every week, Gran," James promised. Harry's scar hadn't hurt in 19 years. Voldemort was gone, truly gone. That final killing curse had destroyed the Horcrux in Harry without killing him, because Harry had willingly sacrificed himself. Love had protected him one last time. The final battle had been brutal but decisive. Harry had defeated Voldemort, not through superior magic, but through understanding. The Elder Wand refused to kill its true master, and love had given Harry power Voldemort could never match. "Nervous?" Harry asked his oldest son. "A bit," James admitted. "What if I'm not in Gryffindor like Mum, or Hufflepuff like you?" "Then you'll be brilliant in whatever house you're sorted to," Harry said firmly. "Houses don't define us, our choices do." Hermione was giving similar advice to her daughter Rose. The next generation of Grangers were heading to Hogwarts, carrying the legacy, but not its burdens. "Do you ever regret it?" Ginny asked quietly. "Taking the Granger name instead of Potter?" "Never," Iris said. "Potter is part of my history. I honor James and Lily's memory, but Granger made me who I am. Dan and Emma chose me, loved me, raised me. That's worth more than any famous name." The Hogwarts Express whistled. Children boarded, waving goodbye. Harry watched his children disappear onto the train, feeling the same protective instinct he'd always felt for Hermione. "They'll be fine," Hermione said, reading his expression. "We've prepared them well." "We have," Harry agreed. "And they have each other, just like we did." Dan and Emma joined them, watching the train pull away. They'd lived to see their children grow up, get married, have families of their own. The scared dentists who'd found a baby on a doorstep had become the heart of a family that defeated the darkest wizard in history. "Thank you," Harry told them, as he had so many times before. "For everything. For choosing me." "We didn't choose you," Emma corrected gently. "You were always ours. We just recognized it that night. What if the Grangers had adopted Harry Potter? The wizarding world had been changed forever. Not because Harry was more powerful or more skilled, but because he'd been loved unconditionally. That love had given him the strength to face Voldemort, the courage to sacrifice himself, and the wisdom to build a life beyond war. He was Harry Granger, adopted son, big brother, father, friend, and that was exactly who he was meant to be." The train disappeared around the bend. Another generation of Grangers was heading to Hogwarts, carrying forward the legacy of love, loyalty, and family that had saved the wizarding world. And that was the greatest magic of all.